All right, seventh grade. So we're here reviewing for your poetry test some more, and now we're focusing on the non-narrative poems. Now, to that end, there's not a plot for me to summarize for you guys when it comes to these poems, and I'm also not going to go necessarily through all of them in great detail. But for this review, here's what I would look at when it comes to the poems, because this test is open book, so me giving you too much in terms of plot questions really tells me, can you open your book and flip to it? Instead, what you want to focus on with these poems is one, you want to be able to identify rhyme scheme, which is something I talked about in the last video. Again, not a terribly difficult concept, but one that you still need to practice. So if I were to give you an excerpt from a poem, and I asked you, can you identify the rhyme scheme? You should be able to do that. So for example, from A Time to Talk by Robert Frost, when a friend calls me from the road and slows his horse to a meaning walk, I don't stand still and look around on the hills I haven't hoed. Let's just take a look at those first four lines. Take a look at our end sounds. Road, okay? Ode is our end sound there. We have an A. That's how that would be identified. Walk, okay? We have a different sound. So B. So our rhyme scheme so far is A, B. What's our next line? Last sound is ound, around. Different sound. A, B, C. Okay, with you so far. And we get hoed. Now this is tricky because it is in fact the same sound as the first one. It's spelled differently. So it's A. A, B, C, A is our rhyme scheme right there. However, it's not based solely on spelling. So make sure you're reading this aloud to yourself as you go so you don't make a mistake and miss something like that. Let's do the rest of the poem together. And shout from where I am, what is it? No, not as there is a time to talk. I thrust my hoe in the mellow ground, blade end up and 5 feet tall, and plod I go to the wall, to the stone wall, for a friendly visit. All right, well, we got some new sounds here. All right, it. This is a new sound. So we're A, B, C, A, new sound, D. A, B, C, A, D is our rhyme scheme so far in line 5. Line 6. No, not as there is a time to talk. We've had this sound before, back with walk. So we repeat it. Road, A. Walk, B. Around, C. Hoed, A. It, D. Talk, B. It's the same sound as in walk. I thrust my hoe in the mellow ground. We've heard that sound before too. It's the same sound as in round. So we have A, B, C, A, D, B, C. Then we get blade end up and 5 feet tall. Haven't had this sound before. This is E. And plod I go to the stone wall. And plod I go up to the stone wall. Same sound. E again. For a friendly visit. F. And that would be something I might expect you to do on these non-narrative poems. Now, I might also give you questions that are similar to the questions you had in your homework. So maybe take back, look at those, and some of those opinion questions are probably going to be going in there. Now, I might also ask you to do some of the compare and contrast questions. So be prepared for that. Be prepared for that. There is no word for goodbye. Gave you a bunch of questions on that. So I would go back and I would review your homework as a means of helping to study for the non-narrative poems. The non-narrative poems, I'm probably going to ask you to identify parts of the poem. So if I give you a simile or a metaphor from it, you should be able to tell me that that's a simile or a metaphor. It would generally be as an excerpt of da 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 is an example of literary term. And then you would have A, metaphor, B, simile, C, imagery, or D, idioms. And you'd have to choose from those four based on which one is correct. So again, that focus on poetry section you had to read is a great section for you to go back and review. If you're having trouble with specific terms, the back of your textbook does have an index of terms so you can see other examples on other pages. This index begins on page 894. 894. And so if you wanted to take a look at metaphors, you could see that there's examples on page 109, 175, 526, 803, and you could go take a look at other spots in the book to help you review and help you study. I will be trying to get the test posted by Wednesday. I'm having some issues with the Google form. It doesn't want to accept the answer key I've made for it in some of the questions, so we're going to try and figure that out, and hopefully we'll have it there. The plan is to have a Kahoot on Thursday, And I will talk to you later, 7th grade. You all take care, and I will see you in the next one.